Hi, my name is Michael Rhodes, and today I'm talking about health. Wow, how's that for a contentious one? Health. Very, very contentious issue. To me, we naturally are healthy. That is the natural way to be. We are naturally healthy. Okay, we know that many people are born with genetic disorders. We know that the state of consciousness affects our health. And we know that many people, we could go into all of this. We could say, for instance, generally speaking, if you die with an addiction, you will come back with it. Unless you, during your metaphysical process of non-physical being, unless you've dealt with it. But even then, you have to come back and deal with it here, the physical level. This is where our lessons have to be expressed on this level. So, for instance, you can die an alcoholic and you can get treatment. They call it on the other side. You can get treatment for that, but then eventually you come back here and you have to live as a non-alcoholic, or you're back in your alcoholism. And I'm not talking about this as anything other than a disease. Please do not hear rights and wrongs or good or bad or criticism as I talk about this health. But in many ways, and in fact in every way, from the moment you're born, you are growing your health or you're not growing your health. So take it, I'm talking in generalization. I'm not talking about all the genetic problems that can go. There's a reason behind them, but that's another talk. We're talking about general health. If you're in a family where you're going to eat a whole lot of burgers every week as your main meals, you're eating takeaway food, you're drinking Coke, etc., all these junk foods and drinks, as they're known. If you're doing that, then you, as you grow up, are not creating a legacy of good health. Equally, they become addictive. I watched a video of a film a guy took, and he walks into a place where they're all eating burgers. These are not the best burgers. And he said, would you consider juicing, vegetable juice, for 2 weeks with nothing else and clean your bodies out? And they laughed. And they're all in about their late 30s, because he asked them their age, in the 30 range. And they all said, no way. And he said, supposing I said you're going to die. They said, well, so what? So he said, seriously, how long do you expect, what is your life expectation? How long do you expect to live? And one of them said, and they all agreed, oh, if I'm in my 40s, that'll be fine. So he said, you don't expect to live longer than 40? The guy said, no. He said, generally about 40, in my 40s somewhere, I'll probably get sick and die. And this man then said to them, but you will create that. You will create it the way you're eating and living. You'll create the dying in your 40s. Guy said, well, he said, I'd rather die having fun than live having to drink bloody vegetable juice. And of course, he wouldn't have to keep drinking it. But this is the attitude of a lot of people toward their health. A lot of people have abdicated from all responsibility for their health, and they go to a doctor, and the doctor's got to look after them, or the hospital, and the hospital's got to look after them. If we had a population of people loving themselves, just that, loving themselves, respecting themselves, appreciating themselves, there'd probably be one hospital to a city. There wouldn't be need of any more. You see, in a way, there are no such things as accidents. You might be thinking, well, what about all the accidents on the road? You see, actually, there is no accident. There's an unrealized purpose. It gets to be a big subject, something I can't deal with in 15 minutes, a very big subject. But what I will stay with is the way we treat ourselves. If I honor myself, in any way at all, this means I have to take in food that honours me. It doesn't mean no time for treats or no time for junk. But on the other hand, you can get to a point where junk doesn't work for you. I can remember a time when I gave a one-day seminar. It was very intense and the energy lifted very high. And a friend of mine brought home pizza and I think that was it, pizza. Oh yes, and Kentucky Fried. And I was hungry. I'd eaten very little that day. I ate quite a bit of pizza and Kentucky Fried. And that night, in the middle of the night, I woke up from a dream. And in the dream, I was a cat and I was eating a rat. And then the cat in my dream vomited the rat up. And as the cat, I started eating the vomit. And that was when I woke up. And my throat was going into convulsions. All the muscles, it was jumping. It was convulsing. I had to race into the bathroom. And I wasn't finally physically sick, but I had to drink a lot of water. And I realized fairly quickly that that was such a low consciousness food. In my high consciousness, my body rejected it. It didn't want it. And that quite shocked me. I didn't know such a thing could happen. And so McDonald's, and I'm not knocking McDonald's. They are there. It's not up to me what people eat. That's entirely, there's no criticism of McDonald's. They advertise what they are, and that's fair and honest. But they plan to have an outlet in America within a 7-minute drive of every community. So wherever you are, unless you live totally isolated and alone, there's a McDonald's within 7 minutes. And as far as I understand it, they feed 80 million people every day. 80 million. As far as I'm concerned, those 80 million people have a low consciousness and they're attracted to low consciousness food and drink. This is not bad and wrong, and I'm not criticizing it. But what I'm saying is this means that they will die a slow, most of them a slow and painful death. Because our dying is all to do with our living. It's all to do with our health. So the first thing to do with health is a healthy relationship with yourself. That's the number one. If you're critical of yourself and blame yourself and feel guilty about things, your energy goes downward. It's as simple as that. Then your food choices will reflect that. That's the way it works. You will choose food of a lower consciousness. If you feel good about yourself, you consider yourself an honourable and worthy person, you have self-respect, I would be very surprised if you eat at McDonald's. Not if you think you have all those things. Not at all. A lot of people think they do. I mean, if you do have those qualities. I don't think I don't criticize myself. I never criticize myself. So it's not a matter of thinking at all. I simply don't do that. And so health is a state of consciousness. Abundance is a state of consciousness. Poverty is a state of consciousness. Now we could say health goes therefore with wealth, because that's a higher state of consciousness, but it isn't. Wealth is nothing to do with a higher state of consciousness. Wealth is to do with fear and greed. It's nothing to do with a higher state of consciousness. There can be people there are people who live literally hand to mouth, who have a beautiful state of consciousness because they don't have wants, their needs are met, and they love their family and their family love them. That is not common. You might think, wow, everybody's like that, but a long, long way from it. That's not common at all. The fact is most people have their hidden thoughts and their hidden emotions. Most people in the streets are walking around controlling their anger, controlling their words, so they don't swear too much. Some couldn't care less and swear all the time. A lot of people would swear but control it because they were brought up not to do it, swear like that. And so health is a lack of inner conflict. That's where it begins. I had poor health. I grew up as a strong young man, and I had low self-esteem, low self-worth, and peculiarly I had self-respect. I'm not sure how it fitted in, but that is humanity. We're a complex group. And then I damaged my back, which became my path, and my path was pain and suffering, because the Christian ethic was we grow through pain and suffering, and I wanted to grow, and so I took on pain and suffering. And if anybody say to me, how am I today? Oh, my back's hurt. I'm not bad. And so the word was bad. One day I walked into a fitness centre where I worked out. There was a lovely big man there, big guy, muscles on muscles, Sean. I said to Sean, hi Sean, how are you? Not bad. How are you, Michael? I'm good, really good. And so this went on. After about 6 weeks, I said to him one morning, hi Sean, how are you? Not bad. I said, Sean, what does that mean? He was uncertain. He said, what does what mean? I said, not bad. What does it mean? And he didn't know what it meant. I mean, what does it mean, not bad? It means not bad. Well, therefore, it doesn't matter. The key word, the focus word, is bad. Not has no energy. Bad was the focus word. I said to him, Sean, he's looking very agitated. I said, Sean, I'm asking you this because not bad means that 20 years' time it will be terribly bad. You won't be saying not bad. It'll be horribly bad. I said, you'll be far better if you said getting better every day. By this stage he was gone. He thought I was nuts, and he told other people in the fitness centre, and everybody looked at me and pointed to me after a while, and I became a source of embarrassment for everybody, and they wouldn't stand next to me. And if they were working out on a machine and I walked over to it, they'd walk away from it. I was too embarrassing to be with. How about that for being stuck in a little tiny box? I quite enjoyed it. I didn't want to talk there. I wanted to work out. Anyway, eventually I went away, I went on my tour, came back about 4 months later, my spiritually teaching tour, and came back 4 or 5 months later. I walk in, there's Sean. I said, hi Sean, how are you? I'm getting better every day. I said, wow. I said, that is great, Sean, fantastic. And he said, yes, he said, and my wife who left me has come back. And he said, I got a better job with more money and we're expecting a kid. I said, that is great. I said, do you know why? He said, yes, because it's getting better every day. And so I said, what brought about the change, Sean? What made you change? Because you were laughing at me. And yeah, he said, I was, I'm sorry. He said, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. Bad, bad, bad. You told me I'm saying that all day, and I didn't feel good. And so he said, I decided to do what you said, and it works. I said, yeah, it does. And I was so glad, because he was a gentle, sweet giant, a beautiful man, and he deserved that. And if everybody else in the fitness centre laughed at me, the one person I wanted to help, to lift him, give him the opportunity to lift his consciousness, he lifted it. And that's down to him. I wasn't quite prepared at that stage to say to him, Sean, one more suggestion. I suggest that you consciously choose love.